So I gave Season of Discovery another chance. Now, a little while ago, I did make a video talking about why I decided to stop playing Season of Discovery, but in a nutshell, I just didn't find SOD to be very fun after phase 1 and 2. I feel like Blizzard just made some mistakes regarding how Season of Discovery played out, but I covered that all in this video that's linked in the upper right hand corner. Anyway, I left Season of Discovery. I canceled my EU WoW account where I was playing it, and I was now saving $15 a month. And that was that. I decided that I wanted to return to playing, and I just wanted to check it out and see how it's been going. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my story of how I had to restart entirely from scratch in SOD, and I'm going to share my experiences going from levels 1 to 60 and doing a bit of the end game, both the good and the bad. And I'm also going to answer the question of, is Season of Discovery Phase 7 worth returning to, or is it too late to join in if you're a new player to this version of World of Warcraft? But real fast, I do have to thank this channel's sponsor. Most likely you've heard of Zygor. It is WoW's ultimate guide add-on. It can help you level faster and make more gold, get those pets and mounts that you've been looking to get. It really helps with everything in the game, and they are linked down below in the description. So let's get started. The journey to level 60. So when I hopped back onto Season of Discovery, I sat there and I thought, okay, what do I want to play as? And I decided that if I was going to play a class and get them to level 60 as fast as possible, I would need to play a very fast leveling class. And so I decided that I was going to play a hunter because, hunters are notorious for leveling very fast. Are hunters the fastest levelers in Season of Discovery, though? Honestly, I don't know which class is with all these new runes and stuff. I mean, I'd be very curious if there was like a test. Anyway, one of the biggest surprises that I discovered upon logging into the game is the fact that now you could buy all of the runes right from a broker beside your starting quest giver, all for 1 copper each. So gone is that experience of doing all those unique quests and such to learn new rune skills. Kind of defeated the whole purpose of having the runes in the game in the first place, I think, but we can talk about all that later. But the point is, you can buy all the runes now. You can still do the quests if you want, to be fair, but water, path of least resistance, why go through it when you can just buy them all right here? Anyway, after selling all of my clothes to get a few coppers, I was set. I had all these new passives, these new abilities, and I was just ripping through the starting zone of Teldrassil with ease. And soon enough, I had all the runes unlocked for my character, making me this massively overpowered monstrosity. As if hunters didn't level fast enough already. I mean, I'm just tearing through Teldrassil. Anyway, so for the next few dozen levels or so, this is pretty much how the game played. I was overpowered as hell. I was cleaving through quests and mobs, and there's also a 150% experience bonus buff that's permanently attached to your character, as well as the fact that you get 300% more money from quest rewards. I will say that this was very much something I was thankful for, because when you are leveling this fast, it's pretty rare that you have enough money to be able to afford your spells every 2 levels. So the 300% gold buff was certainly a welcome addition if you're going to be leveling 150% faster. Anyway, eventually I hit level 25, and you guys are probably well aware of what I did next. So this is something that I barely touched before I stopped playing Season of Discovery, and that is the nightmare incursions. At one point I went to Duskwood and I briefly checked these things out, but not really. That was kind of like when I was fading out of Season of Discovery to do other things in World of Warcraft. But now I was back in Duskwood and I was properly doing these things like a madman. So let me say a few things about nightmare incursions. This is very important, both pros and cons. The pro is that with nightmare incursions in phase 7, you are going to level insanely fast in these things, which is exactly what they're designed for. A single quest gives a ton of experience points. There's plenty of them to do each day. They're all dailies. In the beginning, I was gaining 2 levels just by doing this thing each day. Number 2, I actually really liked the fact that the incursions are very dangerous. I mean, granted, I'm a new player, so I'm not decked out in twink gear like maybe some other people are, but these spiders, they sucked to fight because they summon more spiders when they're killed. Treants do this giant tornado around themselves, which do a ton of damage. There's lots of mobs packed really close together, really short respawn times, and honestly, it was great. I loved it. That leads into number 3. This means that the incursions almost demanded a bit of group gameplay, even for a hunter like me, so that they can go, smooth and easy. So each time I was doing the incursions, I was grouping up with people and I was having a really good time, chatting it up with people, and I really can't complain. I also somehow managed to get my name Naxxramas on Crusader Strike. Somehow it was not taken. So a lot of comments of people saying like, whoa, are you the real Naxxramas? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. Anyway, cons. So in terms of cons with Nightmare Incursions, I would say that I think that Blizzard could have offered a little bit more in terms of reward for the incursions. It would have been neat to get some lower reputation pieces of set gear, for example, some nightmare themed pets, or maybe even access to, purchasing trail mix, which gives you rested experience bar points when they're eaten. That would have been kind of neat. And the second bit of criticism, I guess, once you out-level incursions, to my understanding, you can't gain rep with them anymore outside of doing gathering quests, which I never did, I admit. I wasn't bothering with professions while leveling up this guy. So if you're somebody like my friend Michael who really wanted to hit Exalted with these guys for whatever reason, just be aware that you're just going to be doing gathering dailies, and it isn't going to reward you much in regards to experience points or rep points. Anyway, I wish you could have continued to do these quests a little bit longer. So the Nightmare Incursions, they were pretty much where I lived for a few dozen levels after level 25, all the way up to level 50, I think it was. And that's when you stop getting quests for these things aside from the gathering things, which I didn't do. So here's a quick thing. What are you doing though when you finish all of the incursion quests each day? Well, I'll say from experience, you could go out into the world and do normal quests, but honestly, by the time you go and do your next incursion tomorrow and do your set of dailies, you're gonna out-level whatever quest it is that you're doing. You can go do some dungeons and earn some gear, which honestly is cool, but honestly, it's not gonna mean that much once you level up a few times in the incursions over the next 2 or 3 days. So pretty much you're just doing Nightmare Incursions for a while in Season of Discovery. Again, water, path of least resistance, it's just the fastest way to level. So from what I saw, a lot of people will just log in, do these things, log out, come back tomorrow. I myself fell into this category on some days. I would do some quests in the open world, don't get me wrong, but because the incursions are where it's at, you're not going to find too many people in the open world. They're all in the Nightmare. So those are my pros and cons. Okay. Eventually, though, you do hit level 50 and these dailies disappear, aside from the gathering dailies, right? So you're sort of thrown out into the greater world again to figure out what to do. So for me, what I did is I started doing a lot of quests in Felwood, the Plague Lands eventually, the Searing Gorge, and of course the Burning Steppes. I started on my attunement quests for Onyxia's Lair, Molten Core, so on and so forth. My friend Michael and I, we started doing Blackrock Depths almost every night on Discord. And I was also reminded, I'm just saying, how annoying Felwood is as a questing zone, because it is just running back and forth from the top of the zone to the bottom of the zone. And it sucks. So I also farmed a ton of rep with the Timber Maw with this random druid guy I met. Big shout out to this dude, he was awesome. Honestly, I was having a lot of fun. After the Nightmare Incursions were over, I was really enjoying myself. I was actually kind of happy that they ended, because they were nice grouping up with people and stuff, but being out in the world and questing and meeting people and grouping up, this is what WoW's all about, you know what I mean? So I was having a lot of fun, especially now that the leveling pace had slowed down. The gear that I was getting in dungeons and stuff actually mattered, and I felt that it actually had weight to it. It was cool. I will say, fun fact about me, I'm curious what you guys think, but I normally don't really enjoy the 40 to 60 experience in Classic WoW very much. I don't know. I just feel like it's just such a slog to get through. Once you get that mount, you're just like, oh, okay, gotta get 60. And I feel like the zones are very weak as well. They're not as strong as the early game zones, obviously. But despite all that, I was really having a lot of fun, especially playing with my friends on Discord. That's what really made it special. Somehow, I even managed to get Hand of Justice in Blackrock Depths as a hunter, which made me reconsider what kind of hunter I actually wanted to be in the game. Because after all, in Season of Discovery, you can be a full-on melee hunter. So when I hit level 58, I redid my runes and my talents. I got 2 one-handed weapons off the auction house, and dude, Melee Hunter is so much fun. I was taking on loads of enemies at once over in the Plague Lands. The whole Hunter experience felt fresh and enjoyable again. It was like I was playing a whole new class. Like, I felt like a rogue with a pet. And also, Hand of Justice, dude, is it the best in-slot item for a Melee Hunter? Probably not, but who freaking cares? This was a blast. This is what it's all about, dude. Now, too bad my DPS in dungeons kind of sucked balls now, but, you know, who cares? Maybe it's just because, you know, people are really geared up right now. Anyway, eventually, though, I did hit level 60 on Naxxramas, and my adventures continued with finishing up my attunement quests and getting some decent blue gear, while at the same time collecting these Undermine coins that can be used to redeem for tier gear. If you are afraid that nobody is doing the old dungeons in Season of Discovery around the end game, that you missed the wave, everybody's just doing the raids or something, you're mistaken. Because all the old dungeon bosses at endgame drop these Undermine coins, which can be used to buy tier 1 armor, as well as the wrist, belt, and shoes, I think it was, of tier 2. So each boss drops 1 coin, and the tier 1 armor pieces cost between 15 to 25 coins each. Tier 2 is 35. So as you can imagine, people are running a lot of Blackrock Depths and Skullomance, especially since both of these dungeons have the most bosses, so they're going to drop the most coins. Nowadays, what I've been doing is I've just been trying to get into Molten Core groups, which drop 3 coins per boss. I'm still running old dungeons. I'm trying to gear up. I would really like to do some Onyxia's Lair with my friend Michael. And yeah, I'm just kind of having the end game experience. I haven't done Karazhan Crypts yet. I haven't done Naxxramas, but I'm getting there, you know, little by little. But that's not the point of this video, to like review those things. It's more just to answer the question of, you know, hey, is it kind of worth playing Season of Discovery in Phase 7 as a new player? And let's just talk about my conclusions. The conclusions. So I'll be honest, I didn't think that Season of Discovery Phase 7 was going to be that enjoyable, but I was very surprised by how much fun I had. I will say that a lot of the fun that I was having, however, was coming from the fact that almost every night I was on Discord with my friend Michael while I was leveling up. So grinding in the Nightmare, doing those dungeons and so forth, like, if you were doing all this stuff by yourself, like no friends, nobody, it's just you, I would say that it might be a bit of a boring chore getting to 60, as there's no longer that sense of discovery, since Blizzard now just gives away all the runes and special stuff in the starting zone. Does that make sense? The second thing is that if you are somebody that thinks it's too late to join in, however, you'd be 100% wrong. Endgame is very much alive, even for someone just now hitting level 60, and there are tons of people in the Nightmare incursions who are leveling up and trying out new classes on their alts. I never had the impression while playing through Phase 7 that I had missed the wave. Like, the whole time, I was riding it. Number 3, there's still a lot to look forward to. You know, I've hit endgame, I'm farming these dungeons, getting these coins, getting my tier pieces and stuff, getting ready to do some more serious raiding and whatnot. And yet, even beyond that, there's a lot to look forward to. Karazhan Crypts and Naxxramas, and I think that's cool. Like, there's a lot of content at hitting level 60 to indulge in, and I like that. And number 4, I think Season of Discovery can still be a lot of fun if you give it a chance, and you certainly are not going to feel like you've missed out on anything, and at least that's my opinion after giving Season of Discovery another chance. Once I do get to do Karazhan Crypts, I'll be sure to share my thoughts on it, although I'll definitely have that video will definitely be very late, because I think everyone and their mom at this point has done Karazhan Crypts or has watched a video about it if you're not playing Season of Discovery. But I'm not spoiling myself. And once Season of Discovery releases Phase 8, of course, I'll be doing the new raid with my friends, and we'll see. But guys, thank you for watching the video. That's my story going from 1 to 60 in Season of Discovery. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like button because it does really help the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all with my next video.